I was 350 pounds, and I was 62% body fat. It doesn't matter how much you love your body if you're ruining it from the inside out.
She's eating. Her favorite thing.
I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, Illinois. Smaller town, but it's great. Everybody knows everybody. We would have neighborhood barbecues up and down the street. And I grew up in a household with my mom and dad and my little brother John, who's 4 years younger than me.
Oh, here's your little sister.
And the four of us were the most beautiful clan. We had our own little world in our house. And it was really a beautiful childhood. And I grew up in a family where we hugged and kissed and loved and smooched and cuddled, and there was never a shortage of affection in our house. It was a really beautiful childhood and a great home to grow up in. Hey, Mommy.
Hi, how are you, sweetie?
My family had never made me feel uncomfortable or not special or like I was different. I felt like I was in a safe haven anytime we were in our house because I could do no wrong in my parents' eyes. So they were always my number one support system, my number one support team. I more so became aware of weight being an issue because of other kids making me aware, and kids were really brutal. But at that age too, the parents of the kids would say things as well. So whenever I went over to a friend's house, the parents would say things like, "Oh, you're eating again, Alyssa," or "Oh, haven't you had enough, Alyssa?" And making comments that kind of made me feel a little bit insecure about wanting to eat.
Today's selected piece is Mary Had Little Lamb, played by me.
Elementary school was rough, and that just led into middle school, where it wasn't just kids from my elementary school, but 3 elementary schools filtered into middle school, and then 3 middle schools filtered into high school, and things just got so brutal. My weight kept climbing because while I had all the support in the world at home, I still wanted to eat what I wanted to eat. I wanted to eat on my terms. I wanted to eat foods that I craved, and so I would sneak eat food, and I would eat in my room by myself. If I was by myself, no one could tell me no. If I was by myself, no one could tell me, "That's enough, you've had enough, no, you can't eat this." And it was my choice and my decision. And I think that accumulated over the years where, gosh, I remember in high school, I had just gotten my driver's license and I had left school and I drove to Burger King on the way home and I had 3 Whoppers with cheese and 3 king-size fries, and I just sat in my car by myself and ate it and then went home for dinner.
Happy birthday to you. Cha, cha, cha. Happy
I think freshman year was when the accumulation of all the teasing and the bullying and the mean things that kids said just came to the surface. Mm-hmm. And I think I was trying to feed a hole inside, and I felt lonely, I guess. I didn't have very many friends. I started believing that I was fat and ugly. I felt like I was worthless, and I felt like everything that the kids had been telling me for so many years was true. Because of that and the pain that I felt inside, I felt like I needed to be punished. I started cutting myself. I got to a very low point where the pain I felt like it was deserved, and I deserved to be punished for being such a disappointment to myself, to my family, and I didn't want to be alive anymore. I felt like I shouldn't have to live like this, and I didn't want to. And it was the next day at school, one of my friends had made a comment that she noticed all the cuts up and down my arm, and I told the counselor at school that if something didn't happen, I was gonna kill myself. And if I didn't get help, that I would do something really bad that I might regret. And they sent me to a hospital to be evaluated. And that was the first time that I ever made my parents cry.
I remember sleeping on your floor at night to make sure that you were safe, and that you were okay. It was awful, but I think we got through it because we had to get you through it, and I remember at one point saying to Daddy, "We'll get through this. We have to." Tell me some more.
After I left the program, after trying to hurt myself, I think I took an opposite spin where I finally found the good qualities in myself. I loved my personality and my outgoing nature, and I found things about myself that I loved, so much so that I forgot to care about what I looked like. I didn't really think to lose the weight. I just thought that this was how my life was gonna be, and I would have to find a way to be okay with that. And that was what I did. I worked on becoming a better person on the inside and just loving who I am on the inside, despite what I looked like on the outside. As I started to become okay with my personality, I kind of took on this funny fat girl role. It was me saying, "Yeah, I get it, I'm fat." My biggest stand-up comedy bit was about when I went to fat camp.
No, honey, we're sending you to summer camp.
Summer camp? This was great!
No, honey, we're sending you to fitness camp.
Fat camp? The stand-up comedy my senior year was kind of my last testament and my last FU to the high school kids and saying, hey, I may not be skinny, but I'm pretty hilarious and I'm pretty awesome. I mean, I never had problems making friends, but all the pretty girls would all go hang out together and go shopping, and I never wanted to go because I couldn't go shopping. So I was just the goofy, funny, silly, comedic relief in the group. I went to college in Las Vegas, and so I had the opportunity to audition for an agent in LA, and she said, I love this funny fat girl thing you've got going on. She's like, I need somebody like that on my roster. I had the opportunity to audition for an off-Broadway show in New York. Here I was going to fly to New York to audition for this role, and I went to go sit in the airplane, and I didn't fit in the airplane seat. I also had asked for an extender seatbelt because when I went to go put on the seatbelt didn't fit around me. I was 21 years old, and I didn't fit in an airplane seat. I had this moment of absolute clarity. I refer to it as my click moment, where I realized that I was killing myself, and I can justify my eating habits. I can be a proud, funny fat girl as much as I want to. I can love my hips, thighs, and pies as much as I want, but I was killing myself. I had been told about this duodenal switch surgery, which is kind of the grand poobah of all bariatric surgeries. It's the Big Mac Daddy in the sense that not only does it restrict what you eat, but it also changes the way that you absorb food. And so it reroutes your insides. The duodenal switch, they remove part of your stomach. I wanted to get a kickstart in the right direction, and I figured bariatric surgery was it. I had tried all the diets before. I had done it all. I tried it all. And if I could have done it on my own, I would have. And I'm woman enough, I am person enough to admit that I knew I couldn't do it on my own. I needed help.
Well, I remember, like it was yesterday, going to the University of Chicago with Dr. Prasad and going through all that. The terror and the horror I felt when you were going in. We had to sit for almost 4 hours, and I was like,
A wreck.
I was beside myself. And you were just, this is what I want to do, Mom. Yeah. I'm fine, Mom. I'm going to be okay. I want this. I need this.
And even after surgery, I stayed compliant with what the doctor told me I needed to do, and then went back to, and you were
went back to mashed potatoes.
I went back to mashed potatoes, but like you were so amazing, like feeding me the sugar-free applesauce with my vitamins in it when I was healing from surgery, and I stayed compliant with what I needed to do, and then I went back to Vegas. That's where my life was, and I slowly found myself again justifying what I was eating, because I was eating protein, right? I mean, cheeseburgers were protein as long as I took the bun off. And milkshakes, milk is a good source of protein, isn't it? I mean, chocolate's fine and ice cream is fine. And so I found myself pretty much eating the same thing I was before, but a little bit less of it and just different variations of it. And when I got on the scale, sometime after surgery, and realized that I had only lost 50 pounds when other people had lost half their body weight at that point, it was like another click moment. Like, this is not, the surgery is not gonna fix it. My mommy is not going to fix it. There's no pill, there's no surgery, there is no diet in the world that is going to fix the problem. I have to fix me. I was the problem. I was causing the problem. And then I had to be the solution. I had to fix everything that I had done. That was kind of the click moment I had almost been waiting for. The first click moment was great in terms of I needed something to do, but this click moment was, I know exactly what I need to do. I will never forget, I sat down at my dining room table in Las Vegas, and I wrote out a list of all of the bad behaviors I had accumulated over 21 years of bad eating. and all of the things that I needed to change and all of the things that I was doing wrong. And I looked at this list and I thought, all right, here we go. I have to do this, and I have to go one thing at a time. And I literally went one item at a time down the list. I had intention this time. I had a goal and I had a focus. And I literally, that first time at the gym at 320 pounds, I went from machine to machine to machine. I had to look at the guidelines on the side of the machine to tell me what it was and what muscles it worked. And I tried the machine out. I put it on the lowest weight. I closed my eyes and I tried to feel what muscles it worked. And then I moved the weight up, and then I went again and I moved the weight up until I couldn't move the weight, and that was my weight, all right? That was what I could lift, and I wrote it down, and I went through the whole entire gym doing all of that. 3 years after surgery, I made it to my goal weight of 150 pounds, and it took me 5 years to get through that whole entire list.
So this is obviously...
This was the day that I got to my goal weight of 150 pounds, and I decided, okay, I need a new challenge. I needed a new challenge because I had gotten to my goal weight, and everybody who's lost a significant amount of weight would do marathons or would do 5Ks, and I hated running, obviously, unless I was being chased. But I wanted to do something else, and I said, I'm gonna compete in bodybuilding. It's very easy for the outside world to want to pin my weight loss on one thing. And people want to be able to say, oh, well, here's the magic pill. Well, of course you lost weight. You had surgery. There is no magic pill. Yeah, I had surgery, but just like anyone else who, as an alcoholic, goes to rehab, they still have to work every single day to not have a drink. I have to work every single day to keep the weight off. And I had to work literally my butt off every day to lose the weight. Because you can't just have surgery and lay in bed all day and then you're magically 200 pounds lighter. The surgery is just a tool. If you have a stack of tools laying in front of you, you're not gonna build a house. You have to put those tools to use. And it's all about trial and error and putting in the work and the time and the dedication and being open to trying different things.
What do you think when you see this? These are your competition pictures when you won. What do you think when you see this?
It's so surreal. Because I go right back to that 350-pound girl who couldn't stop eating. And I see myself in that. That was the first time I ever wore a bikini in public. I see myself in a bikini and you can see my muscles and that big smile on my face, and it's so much more than a girl who just looks good. It's a girl who feels good finally, and a girl who's so confident. And it was worth all of those surgeries and all of that fear and terror and, everything that I went through to get here. It was all worth it to get on that stage and to hit my very first pose and to hear the crowd go crazy. And
oh my God, and I remember watching.
It was amazing.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. I love you.
I love you too.
This has been such a journey. If I can say one thing, and if people can take away one thing from my journey and from my story, it's that anything is possible. But you have to be willing to put in the hard work. No matter what, you're not alone. You're never alone. There's always someone there for you. There's always someone to talk to. And there is always going to be somebody who has been there or who can help you through it. But you have to be brave enough to ask for help. And you have to be brave enough to believe in yourself to do it.
All right, it's enough for one day.
Enough ugly tears. Let's go eat.
You tired? Yeah. And go night-night? Up. Good night, Alyssa.